Hello and welcome back. I'm pleased you could join us again. I know it's been a long time. Yes, it is me. You're at Clint's workshop. Well, you think it's a workshop. It's a caravan actually, but it is a project room, and this is where I do projects that I don't need a heavy machinery for. And today I'm going to be talking about workshops, different types of workshops, and which I've seen a few of only recently as well. It gave me a few good ideas, and we're going to have a look at this little device. It's super. So I want to tell you more about that later, but first let me tell you, that is an electric shear actually. Well, they call them electric scissors, and I come across these. I thought, well, gave me an idea, because I could have done with these some years ago actually, because I thought, you might think scissors. What good are scissors in a workshop? Snip, snip, snip. Well, I can tell you that a few years ago I was working on another project, which is this here. Whoa, that's this. See? And that was part of an accessory, rather than a big one, for my hypergraph. That was within the research industry side of things, which I did. And anyway, somebody told me about these things, and the way that comes into it is that when you're making that particular process, I made all this, and it's made out of styrene and one or two other components. And some people get the wrong idea for styrene. They think of polystyrene. It's not polystyrene. And there's this cover here for it. Look. It's a project I did, and the cover goes on to the thing like this. Slots on. See? So the thing is, that cover is styrene as well. Now, I'll just put that back. Excuse me. Before we go any further, I've got an announcement. Yeah, I've got another subscriber. We don't seem to be getting so many subscribers these days. But this is what I got notified about. I don't get notified about every person who subscribes. But thanks very much to Zach Odom, and he subscribed on the 24th of June. Now, one of the reasons why I don't put as many videos on these days is because I've been extremely busy building a website, which I mentioned on the last video, and it's still not without problems. But the thing is, it's all to do with marketing my hypergraph, and you can see more about that on my channel here. You just click on hypergraph tattoo machine, it'll take you to my website. But anyway, back to this little device, which I'm really impressed with actually, because on that styrene I'm talking about, I used to have to trim all the trimmings off. It was vac formed on a vac forming machine, and all the edges had to be trimmed. So I used a surgical scalpel for that. Yeah, well, you've got to be very careful, and it takes a long time to do. But anyway, these scissors. I first come across power shears when I was doing a project about some years ago in the textile industry. And if you look around the textile industry, you're bound to come across clothing manufacturers and things like that, and dressmakers. And one particular place that I looked at, it had got a fantastic setup which cut the patterns out industrially. So they got an industrial cutter, and it was absolutely superb. It try to find a suitable piece of paper. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. I'll use this. But it did it very quickly, and like, well, now I'm going to try to get this geared up so you can see. Let's start on this one. This is easier to handle. It's a piece of paper here. So if we okay, can you see this? I think you can. I'm not using my best camera because the thing is I can't see what I'm doing. Anyway, this machine, industrial machine, it was a type of CNC thing. He programmed it in and it cut around templates and patterns, similar but bigger. You can use in home dressmaking, where you put your patterns on and pin it on, and it cuts through the material and the interface material and the main material as well, all at the same time, and it does it pretty. Well, you know, that that's pretty quick, isn't it? Yeah. So you get the idea. The thing is, so that's just paper, but this is not made for the industrial market because it's prohibitively expensive. Those things. These are great. These and they're versatile, very versatile, and suitable for a number of workshops. Now, when I talk workshops, you get home workshops, cottage industries, and I'm just going to put this little safety device on here. It's a very neat little safety device, this, you know. So you can put it on like this. And then if you accidentally click the machine, you know, it's a serious piece of kit, this, on the cutter, because it cuts through things. What I'm saying is, people who are cottage industries making felt objects and toys and things, or dressmaking and all sorts of things like that, on crafts, all sorts of crafts. This is fantastic. It cuts through styrene and all sorts of things. This is a card which I'll cut through now. I'll take that off again, and it's much thicker than that paper, as you can see. But I use a card a lot on doing graphics and stuff, so we'll just go through there. I don't know if you can see this. Yes, you can. Did you see that? I'll try to adjust it a bit more because I wasn't convinced that you saw it. But here we go. Yeah, brilliant. So, enough of that. That's card, paper. But the thing is, on the instructions that came with this, the specifications were that it would also cut cloth up to 2.5 millimeters thick. So I've got a bit of an old shirt material here. I've not tried it on this actually, but let me see if I can get down to it. Yeah, this is a workstation as well that I used. So It's handy for crafts and things. So anyway, let's have a look. You didn't know I was into dressmaking. I've always had an interest in dressmaking. Let's see what happens here. Can you see this? I think so. Just a bit difficult to see, so. Whoa, look at that. I'm impressed with that. Cut the colour straight off. It's fantastic. I know friends of mine who are into sort of dressmaking and make even suits, and they're doing it scissors and something like, and especially ladies or gentlemen, if you're making curtains, you could appreciate the speed it goes through when you cut into size. So I've got a double thickness here on the sleeve. I think I should have a dressmaker showing you how to do this, but let me get down to this. Yeah. Oh. Here we go. I'm quite impressed with it actually. So I'm watching the camera at the same time, trying to get this set up. So if I look a bit clumsy, I don't want to be cutting through my fingers. So look at that. Look. Not only, but also double the thickness. Double the thickness. And the cloth is specified as 2.5 millimeters as well. So I folded that again. Folded it again. Let's see what happens this time. Well, amazing. Let's see if I fold it again. See what happens this time. It's an old shirt, don't worry about it. I just use it for cleaning up in the other workshop. So I've folded this up with this. It's quite thick now. This might slow it down a bit, but we'll see, shall we? Oh. Oops, lost a bit. Well, it cut through it. Just I lost a bit of control, because the thing is, I'm trying to to make sure that you can see everything. The thing about this is it'll cut through paper and also wallpaper. Can you imagine this? That's another application. It'll cut through wet paper. So when you're doing wallpapering, I've done a little bit, not a lot, but for trimming off, you can even trim the edge off when it's wet. When it's wet, I used to use a Stanley knife or something like that. But the problem is with the Stanley knife, when it's wet, it sometimes tends to tear it. You might have to wait for it to dry. This does it when it's wet. It's a fantastic piece of kit. Now the other thing is, it's suitable for all sorts of hobbies. There's different hobbies. We look at engineering a lot in this on my channel, as you know, but like leatherworks and leatherworking and stuff like that. And on the specifications, I've written it down here. It will the leatherworkers. It'll cut through 3.5 millimeter thickness of leather. Well, I'm not going to try it because I've not got it, but I've got some other stuff. And for instance. Oh, look at this. Credit card. It's a bit stiff and awkward, isn't it? Doesn't say anything about that. Well, it's not a credit card, it's a debit card. Anyway, let's see what happens here. There you go. Destroyed. Totally. So that's that. And the thing is, it's specified to cut through plastic plate and corrugated cardboard. So if you look at the corrugated cardboard, this thing is corrugated cardboard. This came in it, so I get fed up with Vloxo and things. So I'm just going to cut this off and see what happens. Ready? It's short work of that. So there's your corrugated cardboard. Cuts that. So I'm quite impressed with that. So it's great for crafts and things, you know. And there's one another thing. Gotta get. Oh, it said it cuts through carpet. Well, and it also cuts through plastic plate. Well, I'm not cutting through my carpet. But I'll tell you what, I think it is very good. I think if it cuts through that, it should cut through this. This is, we call it cushion floor, type of vinyl A, and it's hard wearing flooring. So I've not tried it, but I think it if it cuts through some of the stuff it says, we'll try it. So there you are. That's the side of it. You've all come across this, and let's see what happens on this one. Oops, I'll try to bring it down a bit. There we go. Oops. Brilliant. What do you want? So you can get quite creative with that. And I'll tell you something else. In the workshop, a while ago, I cut through a Coca-Cola can because I wanted the aluminium for a packing piece like that for tooling. I used tin snips and even one of the scissors from the kitchen. I wasn't very popular. I had to regrind them. But anyway, it left quite sharp edges and things. And it's nice when you're doing the tool, like in the tool post, you might want a thin piece of packing like that. So that's what I used. And I thought, well, this might do that. I don't know whether it will. So I've not tried it yet. But well, I'll try it now. See if I'll snip a bit of this off. Well, whoa. Now that's flown out. Oh, it's here, look. Let's cut it off. There, that's that. So that's some more. I'm not cutting any more off because I don't want to just waste material for nothing. And there you are. So paper's very, you might think it's thin and so what, but sometimes thin paper can be harder to cut than some of the material I've showed you on here. So what I've got here now, the baby wipe. I've pinched a bit. I've pinched the baby wipes. Let me get one out. But, oh, come on. I'm going to get into bother now. Because I don't deal with baby wipes much. But when the grandkids come, my wife usually deals with that. But, oh, there, I've got it out. that's come out of the packet and it's wet. So what I'm going to do is to cut a bit off it. Well, I'm going to see, because when I was in industry making shears and setting shears up for cutting steel, steel, and a big press comes down, £500 press, and it sort of stamps on it, and it shears, actually cutting shear cuts the metal, and I'm talking about thick metal, 1/4 inch thick. Anyway, that's heavy stuff. But the thing is, when you're setting it up on the bolster, collar bolster, by putting a piece of thin paper, if it cut that, you know it'll be okay for the steel. And that's how they used to set it up. So what we've got here is a wet wipe. Yep, wet wipe. Let's see what happens to this wet wipe. It should cut it. I could do it with somebody else to hold it, actually. But let's see if it does it. Oops. That's amazing. So, wet wallpaper. Anyway, that's that. I'm going to tell you about this because I had another thing here. Just going to try this. I'm telling you about this because it's a fantastic piece of kit. You can use it for all sorts. And you know, plastic plate and stuff. Well, what did you say about plastic plate? I've written it down here, 3.5mm. So, well, this is a lot thinner, but this is tough plastic plate, and I've got some even tougher. But I'll just try it on this one, see what happens. It's quite well. It's not solid. It's quite hard plastic, actually. Let's see what happens on this. Whoops. Doesn't want to do it. Just a minute. It doesn't want to do it. On my channel, you know, if something goes wrong, you see it. Now, I wonder if it's the grain. All right, let's see what happens with that. It's not doing it. But this plastic and plastic, and this is very tough. So it's failed on that. But it's done pretty good on these other tests, you know. So I'll see if it will put the. I don't want to damage the cutter, but no, it's okay. So it's still cutting the damp paper. What do you think of that then? I think it's rather good. But the other thing is, why it's impressive, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to put this on here. It comes in a box with 2 of these cutters. I'm going to show you. And I can. Now. When you're taking these cutters out, that's a real neat guard, that is really neat, because you might cut yourself if you try to, you know, take the cutter out without, and it's a good safety thing on the cutter. But it's easy, if you're not careful, to press that accidentally, so you've got to be careful on that. So if you there's a little edge safety button there. If you pull that back and just pull out there, and that's then you just get there's another cutter complete like this, comes with a kit and a charger because it's cordless. Forgot to mention that. And it charges, it's pretty good, and it's only about 3 volts or something. Full charge takes about 5 hours. But putting this back on, so if you look at this from the engineering point of view, pulling back on there's two little lugs there. Can you see them coming out? And they locate as extra safety factor in those 2 little edges there, one there and one there. See? So I'll put this back. It helps to facilitate. If you pull that back, if you pull that back first like that. So if you try that way without, pull that back, just slide it on. Click, it's on, and that's it. so there we are. Now, spent enough time on that, but I have to tell you, you can get these from Amazon, and this one eye kit that I got came within a day, and I don't usually order much on Amazon, but if you search for, it's like my new MacBook Air, oops, brilliant when you can get into it. Oops, here we are. MacBook Air. If I were to, let me just touch that, look at that. So, if you want it, if you want one of them, go to the Amazon site and search for Vloxo. And Vloxo's got many pieces of equipment, but that one is the what I'm using here. So that's it. And I think you'll find a fantastic use for that in the workshops. And I was in one of my local art studios the other day, and it gave me an idea for different workshops. And up to now, my videos has been concentrating purely on maybe the heavier end of model engineering and things like that, or the lighter aspects of it. Yeah, I mean, I'm saying lighter, the lathes are heavy, you know, maybe several hundred weights, but the thing is, some lathes are very light, and some lathes you can use. I knew a guy who used a small lathe in his bedroom, so the bedroom was a workshop, okay? The kitchen doubles as a workshop, or whatever it is. I've got a workshop there, at the back there, but this is my caravan. Look. In the front garden. Project room, workshop. You've got to multitask these things, these facilities. Anyway, look. I've not bored you too much on this one, but I thought I'd bring you something of interest. And I think this is a good piece of kit. And I'll tell you that I forgot to mention it. Yeah, Amazon, it's they've got 15% off. 15% off at the moment on Amazon. So it's a good deal. So have a look at it. I think they're about £39, then you get 15% off or something like that. But great piece of kit, and I love it. Suitable for, I can find lots of work with it. If I'm designing and cutting cardboard and stuff like that, and doing projects and doing collages, very good a certain part of art for artwork, you know, if you're making collages and 3D cards and stuff like that, because you can get artistic with this when you're cutting around curves and stuff like that, you know. It's very versatile. Anyway, it's like my hypergraph. That's very versatile. But I wish I could have designed. I designed something similar to this some time ago for use in the textile industry, but it wasn't for the cutting scissors, but it was for making prototype carpets, and it was about the same size as that. It just reminded me of it, and it was similar colour as well. Anyway, that's all for today. I want to thank you for watching, and I hope you've liked it. I've enjoyed demonstrating it. I think it's fantastic, and you know, it could bring it's inspirational because it brings another dimension into your workshop. You know, you don't get crossover cars, SUVs, and people carriers. This crosses over to different workshops, from craft workshops in doing at home, in the kitchen, cottage industries, up to heavier engineering, what you used to with your heavier lathes, or only smaller ones. But you haven't got to be narrow-minded on this. All sorts of things to give you inspirational ideas and tools you need to do the job, and this is a tool to do the job. Anyway, the next time I want to talk about another important aspect of things, and that is when you're doing a project, before you put it in the failure file, after you've done it and made a realisation and a model of it, and it works, you should still get a process of validation, to validate it, to see how you can improve it. I'm going to get my own example of that is a part for a hypergraph. I'm going to tell you about that most likely probably on my next video. So it's the validating the designs that you've done, and it's just an example, and you can implement that example and make the product a whole lot better. Okay, well, see you around next time, and thanks for watching. Bye.